On today's episode of Watch Chair Go, I think we found the last of the $20,000 cars. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Chair Go, and I'm here with 100% Jake. And we've both been driving down the main road here in Wichita for some time, and every time we pass the VW dealership now, this is a pretty recent thing, there's a gigantic balloon on the roof that says home of the $19,999 car. So we are headed there right now to see what that car is, and then hopefully grab one, take it out for a drive, and see if it's any good. Maybe it's better than the Nissan Versa or the Mitsubishi Mirage. Let's find out. We are here at Eddie's Volkswagen here in Wichita, and look at this giant balloon on the roof of this thing. Home of the $19,999 new car. And out front, I'll give him $19,999 for this bad boy right this second. No questions asked. I know they're like 80, but make me a deal, right? Look, when I started the $20,000 car series, there was only one car that I actually plan on reviewing because it's the one you can really be out the door under 20 for, and that is the Mitsubishi Mirage, the first one we tested. And then you guys said, hey, you have to check out the Versa. And when I talked to the dealership about the Versa, they're like, we can get you out the door under 20,000. And on this car, they were more than happy to admit you cannot be out the door under 20. The car is 20. Out the door, $22,300 at Eddie's Volkswagen here in Wichita. And I will leave a link to them below because my mind is literally broken by how good the 2025 Volkswagen Jetta Sport is. And I can't wait to show it to you guys. This car is unbelievable. So let's go. I have found 3 problems with the Jetta so far, and I'm gonna point them all out to you, and you guys might not think they're a big deal. The first one is this sport badge right here on the B-pillar. Super annoying. Why? Why is the sport badge right there? Volkswagen's doing a couple little weird things with their badges. I really like the GLI badges on the upmarket version of this, the one you can spend $40,000 on, but they put a big chrome GLI right here. I like the way it looks a lot, and on some colors, it's sweet. On some colors, it probably looks a little worse, but that one's fine. I like GLI. I don't love this one. And since we're out here talking about it, let's talk about the outside of the car. So there is no touch or anything on the handles to get in. This does have a normal key, and you know, we always end up talking about the key. So let's go ahead and start there. So this one does not have remote start, even though it is very well optioned. This is a $20,000 car. I can't nitpick too hard. Unbelievable value play. And it's actually, that's the MSRP right there. And it actually has quite a few options. It is set up so well. All I can say is they'll sell you this car for 19, which is an unbelievable deal. But back to the key. It's a flip key. You do have to put the key in. It's not a proximity key, but the other two $20,000 cars were exactly the same. You did have to use their keys. You got a lock button, an unlock button, a trunk button. Do you have to hold it? You do have to hold it, and a panic button. So that is the key setup right there. These are very nice, they're reasonably sized, and they'll fit in your pocket better than the Ford keys. All right, this is the Monterey blue exterior with the Titan black cloth. Titan black looks pretty gray to me, let's be honest. But we'll get to the interior in just a minute. The mirrors are not body color. The mirrors are black, but they're not black. They're like an obsidian metallic. If it'll focus there, these look incredible. Now there's no LED turn signals in them or anything like that, but they do have the blind spot monitors in them. They are power, and they're not power folding mirrors. They are manual folding mirrors. Now, that is already pretty awesome. All the other $20,000 cars, they wouldn't even paint the mirrors. They're just black plastic. So that's a huge step in the right direction. This thing is sitting on actual 17-inch alloy wheels. And not only are they 17-inch alloy wheels, it's got 4-wheel disc brakes. I mean, the Mirage still had drum brakes on it. So I know drum brakes are beginning to make a comeback with EVs because they don't need brakes for the most part, but I love 4-wheel disc brakes. They're so much better, so much easier to work on, and I appreciate this more than I can say in a video. Like I could write a love letter to Volkswagen for what this car is, and it's only gonna continue. Like, this is clearly not a paid review. It's a car I went and asked to borrow, And 5 minutes in, I was like, this is mind-blowing. And we're gonna keep going, and by the end of it, I think you guys will be mind-blown as well. Leave your comments down below whether you hate this car or you love it. But if you're anything like me and you appreciate value for your money, I don't think there's any more value for your money than this car. Anyway, back to the car. So it's sitting on real tires. I know, I can't stop. It's on Kumho Solus 205 55 17s. And I've put a few miles on this, and these tires perform wonderfully. Full LED headlights. I know, right? You guys are probably mind blown too. $20,000, beautiful LED projector headlights, DRLs that come all the way down from here. Great looking headlight, great looking paint, everything matches. It's got that nice rubber seal right there that you start to move into on nicer cars. It has adaptive cruise control. I can't stress enough how insane this thing is. Great looking front end overall. It's just an excellent big grille with these awesome looking hexagons, like the squished hexagons there in the front. I love how that looks. This is a light bar, so it has a continuous LED all the way across the front that looks great. It's not animated or anything, but you know what? For the price point, you really can't complain one bit. It's got a little cover down here in the front bumper for you to put the tow hook in, and that's the front end. So we've been over just about everything, and one thing you guys might notice on this car, $20,000, it's got that camera right there for all of its ADAS systems that work pretty well. And then right there, yep, that is rain sensing wipers on a $20,000 car. You know, on the other cars, I was like, I can't really fault them because I think the Nissan had auto headlights, the Mirage had auto nothing. The Nissan might have had auto headlights, I'm not sure it did. This has auto headlights and auto wipers. It has rain sensing wipers, and it's a budget pick. Unbelievable. This thing punches so far above its weight class, it's unbelievable. Possibly the wildest looking gas door I've ever seen in my life. It's a straight up trapezoid, and it's huge. It's not capless. It will run on regular, which is wild because it is turboed, so you can run it on 87, no problem. And it still has that funny thing people do where it's got a spot for def if you have a TDI version. Oh wow, this paint is outrageous too. This is metallic paint. Crazy, crazy. The Nissan, they were like, do you want white? Yeah, you can have base white. Oh, flawless. Look at that, VW. They're just killing it. All right, so the rear also has a really, really sick LED kind of DRL. I think it's right here in the taillight. It's that little white section, and it continues basically all the way across the back. You can see it right there. And it goes up to the Jetta logo and then stops, and it looks really cool too. Backup camera, obviously. LED tag lights, not incandescent, so you won't be changing those. Awesome, awesome. A nice little trim panel right here, glow in the dark emergency escape button, third brake light. All this is plastic, but I'm not faulting them one bit for this huge back parcel shelf that's all plastic, because I mean, they had to save some money on this car. They gave you everything on the planet. This was an option, and they did spec that. I think it was $400 extra, but these floor mats look very cool, honestly. This thing has a real spare, so we'll pop open the sub trunk so you can see that. Volkswagen Cargo Protection System. Honestly, this is a nice trunk liner. And then underneath that, look at that. You got a jack, you got an actual spare tire, not an inflator. This thing is set up, and I should also mention the trunk is gigantic. What a huge trunk. This is so useful. I think the other cars weren't even close to this size of a trunk. Also remote releases for the rear seats if you want to flip them. Oh, that's nice. All right, that is the rear end of this thing. I do want to turn the lights on so you guys can see the DRL. This is just well done. No parking sensors out back though. There's one thing it doesn't have, and that is parking sensors all the way around. And before we head inside, let's take a quick look under the hood. Nice hood release too. Honestly had a good feel to it. This 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo gets 33 miles per gallon combined. 40 on the highway, look at that. Wow, that is heavy. This hood weighs as much as the C4 Corvette hood. In case you guys thought I was kidding about that hood, look at the hood prop. So this is like neutral. That is when the hood puts its weight on it. You don't see that on most hoods. They're usually quite a bit lighter than this. But I'm sure this is a crazy hood design with a bunch of crumple zones in it. Things like that. All right, so you got this 4-cylinder right here with a turbo hanging off the back that actually looks like it would be very easy to get to. ABS module, a little harder to get to. Pretty easy to change the air filter, easy to get to the ECU, fuse box right there. Remote fill for the washer fluid reservoir that's buried all the way down underneath all of that. And this engine looks like it would be relatively serviceable or also relatively easy to get out if you needed. If there's one thing that's actually easy to change on this engine, it's that wideband O2 right there. It's got a water to air intercooler hiding right there underneath the intake. This is just nuts. What a design. Big ol' alternator too. That alternator's gigantic. This is an auto start stop car, so I guess it kind of makes sense that they wanted a big alternator on there to charge the battery back up as fast as possible. All right, that's all we need to see under there, but that 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder makes 154 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque. So the most power we've seen in the $20,000 test series here. And that power comes out of the 4-cylinder and heads through an 8-speed automatic, a normal 8-speed hydraulic automatic. I know a lot of people were upset about the CVTs in the other cars, to the front wheels right here. So a really nice package that's probably very reliable. It's also GDI. You guys know I love GDI. So it should be, I mean, and it is very efficient. So let's jump inside now and take you on a tour of all the oddities and functionalities in the 25 Jetta. So we're starting out on the driver door panel like we always do. First of all, I always love this little LED indicator that Volkswagen, Audi, everybody uses to indicate if the doors are locked. It's a really nice touch. And I also kind of like how this has this transition across. It goes from this like negative angle inside the car to this, what is a positive angle inside the car across there? I don't know, it's really, really cool. Nice door locks right where they're supposed to be. Nice door handle. It's that chrome coated plastic, metal coated plastic, and it's just nice. Down here, everything is in exactly the right spot. There's nothing weird. There's no window controls you have to reach for or anything like that. Honestly, for being $19,000, the finishes are excellent. This is kind of a harder plastic, but it's still soft. Like it has a rubber coating on it or something. This is definitely just hard plastic. This nice piece of metal trim right here, and it's actually metal, it's cold. And then this is incredibly soft. Everywhere your arm is just very, very nice. So vinyl, soft, and then this is the most epic part. Actually, we'll come back to the most epic part. Trunk, nice trunk release, huge door pocket that will hold a giant water bottle, and they designed this perfectly to hold giant water bottles or maybe even 2 normal water bottles. Like there's a ton of room in that door pocket. All right, back to the cool part. Are you guys ready for this? Auto up and down, auto up and down, auto up and down, auto up and down, all 4 on a $19,000 car. We still don't see this on some $100,000 cars. That is out of control. I can't believe Volkswagen did that. There's not even a reason for them to do that. Like, you're supposed to cripple your economy cars, and they didn't. This thing just got it all. Window locks right there, really nice mirror controls. They work great. They only move when the car is on, apparently, and turn all the way down if you want the defrost on the exterior mirrors there. Crazy that that turns on with the car off, but the mirrors don't. Interesting. All right, coming inside here, you do have full manual seats. There are no power seats in this car, but at the same time, I really love this pattern. So very cool pattern, probably a great fabric that's gonna hold up over time. The newer cloth seats really do hold up very well, so I love that. Obviously, it's got the jack up and down right there, the seat back right here, and your slide right there. So reasonable controls, and these seats work great. And not only are they cloth, heated cloth. Take a look at that. The driver and the passenger front seats are heated. So we're already off to a very strong start with the Jetta because all 4 windows are auto up and down, which is crazy, but let's keep going. Auto headlights. Is this tilt and wow, it's manual, it's not power, but tilt and telescope wheel right there. This is the button that enables the safety suite over here on the headlight stock. So push forward for high beam, pull back to momentary high beam, turn signals, everything you'd expect right there. Over here on the passenger side stock, it has all of your wiper controls, but they are rain sensing. So just set the rain sensitivity level right there and leave them on, and you're fine. You could just leave them on interval forever and it will take care of the rest. The steering wheel is absolutely incredible for this car. So it's a semi flat bottom wheel. It looks incredible, and it's not just a quick thrown together stitch. The leather actually has a very nice stitch that punches way above its price point. The steering wheel, look at this. It's loaded. There are no dummy buttons on the steering wheel here. I actually really like this layout. So over here on the right side, we have all the cruise control, but most people now are dividing it so you've got like media on one side and cruise on the other. Nope. Volkswagen did it way better. The volume control is right where your thumb needs to sit on the wheel all the time, so it's always in the right spot. Track is over here on the right hand side of the wheel, and then of course all the cruise is also right where it needs to be. So speed up, speed down, follow distance, resume, set, cruise on and off, and then this activates lane keeping. And I would assume if you hit this button and turn on the full safety suite, it enables the lane keeping system that vibrates the wheel, and then this one is the one you use to actually have the car drive and center itself on the road for you. Over here we've got media controls, your voice assistant button, different pages, so it's got a multi-part menu and many different configurable displays right here. Let's jump in here and take a look at those menus because they are very cool. So this is the default screen. I absolutely love it. It gives you all the information you need except for attack. It would be cool if you could see RPM on here somewhere, but you cannot see RPM. The display is actually only this big, and all the rest of this is just dummy lights and those LED bar graphs there for fuel and for coolant. So let's take a look at the other views real quick. This one is the skeuomorphic speedometer. It looks great. So you can configure the middle of that speedometer to be whatever you want it to be. We could put it back as gear, oil temp, speed, whatever. The next view is the tach with the speedometer, which is the perfect display. I love that one. It's a little minimalistic and you don't see all the information that you do over in this one. So I am probably always going to leave it on this one, but you know, your mileage may vary. You might like to see different information in your cluster. I love this one, speedometer, oil temp, and then anything else you want to see about your drive. The music currently playing, navigation, you can put all that over here. And we'll get into the navigation, but Volkswagen knocked it out of the park. This has two-way CarPlay that does things like if it's slow on fuel, it tells your phone to start looking for a gas station, like a notification pops up to find the closest gas stations. And then if you start navigation in CarPlay, it will pull it in and show it in the car's navigation in your cluster. It's unbelievable how good this thing is. Like, the only other times I've seen these features work were brand new Fords, brand new loaded Hyundais, Kias, like nice stuff. And this car has it all. So that's the cluster. It does everything you want to do, and it looks very nice. And I know on camera you can kind of see how the screen's well defined, but in real life you can't tell. It's just black to black across here. So it's it makes it look like the entire thing is a screen, even though it's not. So we'll cover the infotainment here in just a moment, but first let's take a look at everything else. In the center, we've got the vents, the passenger airbag indicator, which I assume you have to open the glove box to shut that off completely with the key, the hazards, this incredibly nice dual digital climate control. It's auto. I love the way all of this works. Take a look at that. It's in sync right now, but of course you can grab the other control at any time and take them out of sync. We'll shut that back off so you don't have to hear the fan, but all of this works great. And if you push menu, it moves the climate up to the menu. Take a look at that. So only front controls in here, obviously. I mean, this is a base model and it's just crazy loaded for what it is. But if we take a look at that, you can configure everything on the screen as well. So let's go ahead and turn that back off. Under the climate control, we've got two USB-C ports and they're lighted. That looks really nice. A bunch of storage here. That's the perfect size for any cell phone, maybe even a small tablet. Coming down from that, we've got the shifter for that 8-speed transmission. It does have this drive and sport. Oh, have I been doing this wrong all the time? That's how you put it in sport. So I was thinking it was like a BMW where you go over to go into sport, but it always goes into manual. Nope, you push down and it puts it in sport. Crazy. All right, well now we know how the shifter actually works in this thing. I've never ran into that before. I'd prefer a sport button, but it works just fine. There are a lot of filler buttons down here where it did not get options, but electronic parking brake, auto start stop, an eco button, and if you have auto start stop turned off and you push eco, it turns it back on, which is pretty funny. You can't have auto start stop off if you're in eco, so that's interesting. All of those are blanks, and then of course 12 volt accessory power right there. 2 cup holders that are a little wanting because most drinks now are huge compared to those cup holders. These are older, normal size cup holders without spring holders or anything like that. So you can't put your big water bottle in there. You probably can't put like a very large drink in there. That's like, if there's a downside, it's that, and there's one more downside inside here we're gonna get to in a second. You've got a little storage compartment here for keys, maybe a small phone. Newer phones don't love to fit in this. It's a little bit short for like a modern iPhone, and not even a Max, just a normal iPhone probably won't fit in that compartment, but the keys fit there great if you want to put the keys somewhere. Center console, it has like a vinyl stitched cover and it's really nice. It's a very deep center console, but no lights, no USB ports. It looks like in upper models, that probably is a USB port or a light. Look at this. Wow. So you can flip these and you can have the armrest all the way down, or if you need a little more height, you can flip them down and the armrest is taller. That's actually really cool. Good job, VW. Hadn't seen that until just now. I love the way the dash looks in this thing and how it flows all the way across the car and into the vents. And then let's take a look at the glove box. It kind of soft opens. So that's the dash. I just remembered there's another interior downside. Neither sun visor has a lighted mirror. They actually both have mirrors. They both have little tabs to hold toll tickets and parking passes and things. And the sun visors do pop off and slide. So honestly, a really cool sun visor setup, but neither the driver nor the passenger sun visors are lighted. So that's kind of a drawback. It's not the end of the world, but lights are pretty cheap now. The mirror is actually a work of art. This is a mirror you'd see in such an expensive vehicle. It's frameless. It has a super nice compass in it. It also has the hidden home link button with the light behind the mirror. And you gotta love how that lights up. 3 home link buttons and a Bluetooth button for some reason. I assume that's a new way to set up home link, but I've never actually used it before. It has a Bluetooth icon on it. And then one of the crazier things about the 25 Jetta is these are incandescent lights. When's the last time you saw incandescent lights? It's crazy. It was probably the Mirage. You can turn door on and off right there. You can turn the rear on and off right there. And of course, both map lights can be controlled right there. And you can also have Volkswagen's connectivity on here. So it has a built-in phone for emergencies, maintenance, everything like that. It's honestly a little weird how awesome the tech package is in this car. And then incandescent interior lights. All of them. They're all incandescent. And now it's time to get into the infotainment. There's a ton in here, so I'll try not to get buried in this, but I like that it shows pretty much the exact car that we're in on the dash right there. This one does have single zone climate control in the picture, which is pretty funny. Let's see, we got some climate settings. Automatic supplementary heater right there. That's kind of interesting. Menu. We've got radio, tel, vehicle, sound, media, app connect, assistance systems, climate control, help, legal notices. Oh, I'm glad they put an app in there for legal notices. Let's just go through all of these. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. All right, let's go home. Home looks great on this. It does have CarPlay, wireless CarPlay, which I would assume extends to Android Auto as well. So that's already leagues above the Mirage and the Versa. Having wireless CarPlay is so nice. The only thing it doesn't have is a wireless charger. If it did, you wouldn't need any cables at all. CarPlay automatically imports everything from your phone into the home screen. It looks great. You can build your own home screen over here. Usually, I don't know what's going on. Usually you can scroll over to this other dot. Let's just look at favorites. All right, so normally when you swipe over, it gives you the favorites here. If you swipe down on the infotainment, you can switch profiles so everyone who drives the car can have their own profile with their own presets. Let's fire up CarPlay so you guys can see what it would actually look like in your use case there. Okay, it's not. It's in my pocket. Oops, I had Bluetooth turned off. Now it'll connect. There we go. We've got full screen CarPlay, and now let's go back to home. And you can see CarPlay's music right there. Obviously, you've got a shortcut to get into the phone in CarPlay. And if you hit car, you get all the car settings here, which is, you know, all your driving data, which you can put over here if you want. You can move everything between these screens, which is really cool. Long term, this car only has 51 miles on it, so that's the entire history of the car right there. And it's doing pretty well. Gas mileage is going up since I started driving it. We're getting there. 350 miles of range on a, not even a full tank. It shows it's full, but you know, we've been driving this for a bit. So it's got pretty reasonable range and the mileage is only going up. Let's take a look at the settings here. So you can turn on and off traction control right here in the vehicle settings. You've got some TPMS settings. You can have a speed warning on winter tires, all the exterior lights. Cool. Yep. Convenience turn signals for 3 flash. Gotta love how configurable this thing is. Automatic wipers. Look at that. And of course, all your door lock settings right there. Really, one of the best things about this is the infotainment is super snappy. It's always fast, and they kept it super simple. It's all high contrast. It's all like black and white. It looks really nice. Like, they did a good job with the infotainment, but they kept it fast and they kept it easy to read and they kept it easy to make changes to the vehicle if you need to as well. So the infotainment is also one of the biggest drawbacks on the entire car. And of course, you're looking at that right now. It's the fact that the volume control turns the power button. Come on. Why is the volume control not moving around the power button? But when you do turn it off, very cool, you can have a clock. And it's an old analog clock. And then you can have a cool digital clock. And then you can have a different analog clock. So you can decide if you don't need numbers or if you want the digital one. Honestly, really nice. The only thing it's missing is like a Breitling logo or a Bulgari logo. Well, so far this thing has been an absolutely winning package. Let's take a quick look at the back seat. I think we've covered all of the drawbacks of this. The only other drawback, I said there were a few of them, is the ADAS is not amazing at finding lane lines. It's like a common theme. I know a lot of cars handle it really, really well now. It's 2025. I think everybody should be handling lane lines and lane keeping better, but at the same time, this car has unbelievable features for the price point. All right, back to the back seat. Tweeter right there on the armrest, basically. So they did not give you vinyl on the rear door panels here. This is all hard plastic, top to bottom. Even down here, at least it's a soft rubber down here, but it's not vinyl. It doesn't have any stitching or anything like that. It does have the tweeter, like I said, speakers down here at the bottom. I actually really like the way they made those grills look as well. Plenty of storage here in the door. Tons of legroom here in the back, and nice piping on the seats. It matches the front. I mean, it's a really good looking car. 2 cup holders and a little bit of storage there on the center armrest in the back. And of course, I did open these earlier. And let's take a quick look at them down. Plenty of room. It is interesting that this isn't actually squared off, but I still think it's plenty of room to get most things in and out of your car. And there are no other features in the back. No USB ports, no auxiliary, 12-volt outlet. It looks like on a loaded one, you might get climate control right there, but this one does not have that. So that's it. That's the whole back seat. That was quick and easy. It does have some little hanger hooks right there for you if you need to hang up some clothes, a little shark fin antenna, and that's the entire exterior of the 25 Jetta. Now, let's get this thing out on the road and get some driving impressions.
Because this is the first year that they no longer offered a manual.
Is that true?
According to a group chat that I'm in right now. At least that's the case with the Golf.
Well, we are out in the 2025 Jetta right now, and it's time to get some driving opinions, I guess.
I've got riding opinions.
You've got riding opinions?
Yeah.
So far, actually just in love with this car. It's been pretty good at everything. Not amazing at ADAS things, but it's $20,000. And it's honestly just the fact that it has all this ADAS. Both of the other cars, the Mirage and the Nissan, weren't even on the level of this thing. It's an order of magnitude different Like, this is a loaded car that can hang with cars that are like $70,000. You're getting into that ballpark, so.
Yeah, the tech and equipment in here for the price is absolutely bonkers.
Unbelievable.
And, like, the seats are comfy, nothing's rattling, nothing feels cheap.
Yep.
I mean,
it's pretty quiet inside.
Yes, we got on the first thing I said when we got on the highway, got up to 60, I was like, there is no wind noise.
Nothing.
Apparently the Apple CarPlay connection's flaky.
Apparently, I don't know why it just disconnected.
It just dropped. I was like, see ya. But it has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto.
All right, we made it to Mexico. Let's see how fast this thing is. So 0 and full throttle. Wow, it took a while. Man, it makes so much. It went into traction. The other cars didn't even have a use for traction control. Wow. Well, officially, that 0 to 60 is supposed to be about 7.1. That's the as tested. And what we just did was nowhere near that. It was in the 9s. And that was probably because traction cut all the throttle for quite a bit of time there. Like, the power, it ramped up pretty slow, which is why they test these with a 1-foot rollout. And I gave it no rollout, obviously. I always time from the throttle sound in the video until it says 60 on the dash. My numbers in the videos are always higher than the official testing. I don't have an easy way to do 1-foot rollout without getting the draggy. So we're just kind of winging it over here. And you know, the way we do it is probably a little more like the way you're gonna do it as well. But traction pulled a bunch of power and ended up making the 0 to 60 very slow, but it makes gobs of power, enough that it spun the tires. So we've established that it has tons of power. It also has a normal wheel size, unlike those other $20,000 cars that are built with like budget wheels and tires. The problem is, we've talked about this in the videos, some tires like 14s and stuff are so expensive now that you're better off having something with a 17-inch wheel on it, because like a 17 is back into the affordable range at this point. So it has wonderful tires that's so far been very predictable, and now it's just time to go find some corners. We're gonna throw it through a couple of corners here and see how it handles. So far, amazing. This thing keeps the wheels hooked up, even going over bumps, you know.
The ride is good.
The ride is very good. It's so quiet. Definitely quieter than that Nissan, and 100 times quieter than that Mirage.
Yeah, the suspension is firm and taut, but not crashy.
Absolutely. It feels very German, really.
Yes.
It's $20,000 and it feels like big boy BMWs.
Oh, well, hang on now.
Okay, now we're out on the highway. Again, like Jake mentioned, this thing's quiet. There's a hint of wind noise around the top of the windshield. Just a hint, but everything else is dead silent, which is better than really anything else I've been in this price point.
Yeah, there's no tire road noise whatsoever.
Yeah, this is incredible.
And the engine is silent, of course.
Engine's silent. It's got a real transmission. Everyone's gonna love that, you know. I get a lot of CVT detractors in the comments, and I understand.
Also known as correct people.
Yeah, I get that people are upset about it, but technically the CVT is the best transmission of all time.
Yeah, but nobody actually makes them work
right. They don't build them correctly.
Yeah.
But from an engineering standpoint, nothing can be better than a CVT.
Yeah.
The problem is they are notoriously unreliable. So we were driving the notoriously unreliable CVT brands as well. The Mirage and the Versa.
Instead of the notorious BIG, it's the notorious CVT.
Yeah, the notorious CVT.
All right.
Yes. Try a little bit of driving here. Turn in. A lot of steer angle there. This thing merges wonderfully. And we're not going, like, we'd have to be going 160 mile an hour for that to feel sketchy. It felt perfect. We would have to be going triple the speed limit for that to even matter in this car. It really does handle well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like wallowy or vague or, I mean,
perfectly direct.
I'm right seating, and I was completely nonplussed during all of that.
The Mirage was a car, and the Versa was more car, and this is a literal order of magnitude more car than both of them.
This is car, this is good car.
Yeah, this is a really good car. I don't know what else to say. That's my driving impressions. Is it handles amazing, it has plenty of power, and if you want to spend more money, you can have more power. They'll give you a 2-liter turbo instead of the 1.5. It's crazy that this is a 1.5 turbo for what it costs. With an 8-speed, a hydraulic 8-speed. What a car.
What are we doing on fuel economy through all this? 23.4
It's going
miles
up.
per gallon. It's going up.
I'd love to have the tack up right now too. I'm just guessing. Okay. Wow! There, we finally found it. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievably good.
I wasn't even, like, the seat was good enough. I was not reaching for the grab handle. I was able to just sit here.
No, this thing is ridiculous, man. I am mind blown. The Nissan could not have done that. It handled pretty well.
The Nissan would have understeered straight off of that.
The Mitsubishi would have killed me, though. It would have killed me. And this is something you can give your kid and never worry. All right, we're gonna go deep into the corner. And I'm adding power, but it's pulling it back out. That's pretty quick. It's tidy.
Yeah.
Tidy.
I mean, we were at the speed limit at the top of the ramp.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Is what you need.
Before the acceleration lane, we were at the speed limit.
Yeah.
So that's unbelievable. Well, there you have it. This car does everything well. It has not let me down one bit compared to the other $20,000 cars. In fact, it's so much better that I really do think this thing punches so far above its weight into like the $50,000 price range with its features. Absolutely wild how good this is. My mind is blown. I was really just like, it's another $20,000 car. We have to go get it. And as soon as we started driving this, I was like, wow, this is a cut above the other two, way above. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to Eddie's VW here in Wichita. Like I said, link to this exact car in the description below. You can see they list it as like 21, but it's crossed out and it's even cheaper than 21. It's $19,999. So a wild deal. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjargo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. Woo, that color. Wow, what a color. Like, yeah, it doesn't have cooled seats. It doesn't have massage seats. It doesn't even have leather, but it's got really nice cloth. It's absolutely acceptable infotainment. The radio, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Like, you can clearly tell there's no subwoofer, and you can definitely just spend a little more money and put a system in it. This thing options way up to like $40,000 plus if you want it to. So it's a crazy deal at this price point. And if there was any option I was gonna add to this car, it would be the radio. And you can also option a 7-speed dual clutch, which would make it wild. The loaded ones like the GLI have that dual clutch in them. So many good options, right? Volkswagen knows how to do dual clutches. I'd say better than everyone else because Audi and Lamborghini are the kings of dual clutches. So they've got a great family of parts to pull from. This is really good. Maybe add an audio system and have the perfect daily. People said in the other two reviews that I like loved those cars or how could I recommend them? And I was like, no, I said the Mitsubishi is a car and it meets all the requirements of being a car and transportation. And then the Nissan was better. This is way better. It's just the truth. Sorry.